Happy Thursday, everybody.
What's up? What's up? Other than Ethereum, Bitcoin, Matic, all of freaking crypto right now.
It's awesome. I love it. Oh, we're going to get into that. It's going to be a great chat. I can't wait. So I want to say hello, everyone. Welcome, Rooster. Glad to have you at the show, brother. Jay Steen, my man. Always good to see you. BTK, the man with the jams. And Chrome, of course. The golden opportunity has arrived. And who else got? We got Cyril Keir, of course. Funny Toro. And I think we've covered everybody. Glad you showed up. I made it this time. And I hit the button. Look at me.
Good job. And we got Dave.
Oh, we got DeFi. All right. DeFi. Chucky's in the house, my man. Oh, look at that. John Richter, my man. Thank you, brother. Love you. I love the sport, guys. And that is awesome. And just so you guys know, the voting polls are open. So if you haven't cast your vote yet, don't do it right now. But definitely go out and cast your vote because we will have the dance off as we do every week. And so that way you can be entered into a $10 or more drawing, specify when it could go up. So thank you. Okay. So Cyril, of course, man, what in the hell happened? Now we've run a pattern for like 4 weeks solid. Wednesday, the markets go through the roof. Thursday, they bleed to death. And it's like, oh, it's always depressing. Not today. What is going on? Let's take a look at this real quick because this is freaking amazing. Look at this chart. So, I mean, we've got Bitcoin up 2.9% for the day. Ethereum up 12.2%. What the hell happened, brother?
There's a lot. Today is the first day in an 8-day window for the SEC to go through and approve like recent ETF filings and things like that. So a lot of people are thinking that sometime over the next 8 days, we're going to see some Bitcoin ETFs go live or at least get approved, right? And I think that BlackRock has an idea that their Bitcoin ETF is going to be approved because today news dropped about 5-6 hours ago that BlackRock went and filed for a new company in Delaware, one of their iShares, and they're setting up their ETH trust. So that is why Ethereum is just going straight to the moon right now. Compared to all the other cryptos, it's outpacing them by quite a bit. You know, you got BNB's up 1.61%, but Ethereum's up 12.15%. It's crazy.
Exactly. And just like DeFi was saying, BlackRock's setting up an ETH trust in Delaware too. And I mean, this is some crazy news going down. Now, let's talk about that for a sec, because we talked about ETFs and what those are, how that works. Now, we know that they've been waiting for the Bitcoin ETF to go on. Now, did this Ethereum one just kind of come out of the blue and blindside everybody, or did we know this was coming down the pipe?
So I hadn't heard any whisperings of BlackRock wanting to file an Ethereum ETF. Like they had mentioned last year that when, once their Bitcoin stuff and everything was taken, was approved and live, that they were considering looking at Ethereum because it is, the number 2, right? So it would make sense to have it. But as far as like whispers in the wind, people didn't really know that they were going to be doing that. So, that kind of caught everybody as a surprise. Just like Chrome said, there was that speculation a while back that I was talking about here and last year, but nothing confirmed or solid but here they filed the paperwork. It's there. Company's been created and they're ready to start running their Ethereum ETF through it. So that'll be cool.
That will be that, and that's very exciting stuff. And DeFi says because they're also pumping tokens as usual, but what do I know? That brings about a great question there, DeFi. And now we've seen with the XRP lawsuit, as soon as they won their case, it spiked up, did a 2x, and then it dropped back down. Then a couple weeks ago, we had the Bitcoin ETF we thought was approved, and that was a screwed up news story. It spiked through the roof, and then it plummeted back down. Now, with the Ethereum one where they filed that, are we expecting that same pattern to occur where it spikes up and then comes bleeding back down again?
So unless like some of the ETFs for BTC wind up getting, denied over the next 8 days, 7 if you don't count today, over the next week, if they wind up getting denied, then yeah, we'll see the markets come crashing back down, probably a little bit lower than where they were before all the ETF hype started entering the market about a week ago. So be careful, don't just, if you're out there trading it right now, make sure you use a stop loss. I had a trade in earlier on ETH. It did okay.
Okay, that's being humble. Come on, give us some juicy information. What kind of percentage are you talking about? It did okay.
Here, let me check 1 second. I want to give you the exact number. 1,275.75% profits.
Yeah.
I was using 200x leverage because I felt I was in a pretty good spot, and so I just let it do its thing. But I did wind up taking profit. Where a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you should have held it. You should have held it," because I took profit around the $2,040 mark on Ethereum, and now here it is, a scant, like 4 or 5 hours later, and it's sitting at 21.22. That would have been a whole lot more on top of that. It would be closer to a 3,000% profit. But again, the key is you go into your trades with a plan, right? Be like, if it hits this part, this point, this is my take profit, I'm going to get out. Once you're in profit a good ways, you get your stop loss in above where you entered, right? But you have your take profit. You get out where you calculated that you want to, right? Don't sit there and be like, oh, well, it might keep going up. Yeah, but it might not. We've seen time and time again, it goes up and then right back down, or, it drops down. And so you're like chilling in a short, then it comes right back up. So nobody ever went broke taking profits. Right. So don't sit there and, get mad at yourself, be like, oh, I should have left it in, because what's going to happen is next time you go in your trade, you're not going to close it and take your profits. You're going to leave it in, and then it's going to bite you in the ass. So be smart, go in with your plan, and exit when you're supposed to.
Got it. So now, of course, a lot of us are, especially like myself, I'm like, I should have started trading beforehand. Why didn't I start before now? And I could have done that too. So obviously, that's a problem we're always going to have, but we're still very early in the bull run. I mean, it hasn't even really kicked off yet. These are just little news spikes. Now, are we expecting like in 2024, 2025 for this to be a common occurrence? And maybe that's something we should start learning now. What do you think?
Yeah, it's never too late to learn, right? It's like the best time to plant a tree is yesterday. Alternatively, the second best time is today, right? So it's never too late to learn. And trading, there's many different kinds. So figure out what kind of trader you are looking to be. And then, once you decide kind of what you want to do, feel free to ask in the Down Home Crypto Discord, be like, this is the kind of trader I want to be. I want to be able to just plop in a buy or whatever, and then sit back and check on it in a couple of months, right? Or maybe you're someone who's like, oh, I got to be watching the charts 24/7. I'm in a trade here, out there, in again, out again, in again, out again, taking a bunch of trades every day. But each of those has its own style of trading. But when you figure out what kind appeals to you, drop in the Discord, tag me, and be like, this is the kind of trader I am. What should I learn first? And I'll tell you, okay, well, you should learn Forex trading, or you should learn perpetuals, or you should learn options, or, it's all going to be based off of what you like.
Okay. Sounds good. And now let me ask you, with these kind of impressive gains and stuff, of course, a lot of people saying, well, man, I should start trading. That's the only way to make money. That's not really the case, is it? You can make a fair amount in multiple different ways, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So nobody should feel like they have to trade to make profits in the crypto world.
Exactly. A lot of people in the crypto space do what's called spot trading. You're not leveraging anything. You're not, shorting anything. You're just buying tokens and selling them when they're higher, or buying blue chips and selling them when they're higher.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's something good to know. So John says, more John would put a whole DeFi project. No, John,
don't do that.
A bad idea. Don't do that. I don't care how good the project is. I don't even care who runs it. Never, ever do that. DeFi says, wait until they turn the money printers on. That's when you'll see the real euphoria. Exactly. And so now we talked about this in an early episode, Cyril, as far as when that true bull run is going to start in your guesstimation. And if you would refresh our memory on that.
Yeah. So according to history, we can target the anticipation of the bull market starting generally around 4 months or so after the halving, and then really getting into the full swing, like, close to the highs between 6 to 8 months after the halving, right? And that's your cycle. That's what history has shown us. However, be aware of the fact that we are in uncharted territory. Every single cycle, we haven't had ETFs from big investment firms for Bitcoin or Ethereum. There's a lot of institutional money in the space now. There's a lot more adoption. Things like Bitcoin and crypto didn't even become a household name that people really thought or talked about ever until 2017, right? A lot of you may not have been in the space back in 2017, but that's when it really first started becoming a household name. And you got to remember, we essentially had a bear from then until 2021. So that's a good period of time, and we would be coming out of the bear market a lot sooner, I think, than last time.
Okay.
Great. So, if people are saying that this is the bull run, it's not. Okay. Well, it could be. I'm not going to say definitively one. I don't think it is, right? I think that this is the run off of news. This is the run off of leading into the halving, but typically speaking, we see a very strong pullback post halving.
Right. Okay. And so, I mean, now one thing that's really changed is the whole environment and the perception of crypto. Over the last decade, of course, everybody talked about, oh, crypto is just horrible. Even during the bull market, the traditional investors always stayed away from crypto. But now we're seeing that change. Do you think that's going to change the cycle of what we've seen over the last decade?
Yeah, I think it is. I think that that's the reason why the bull run wound up lasting a lot longer this time around. So normally, you'd have Bitcoin, it would go up, 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 parabolic, and then crash pretty hard afterwards, right? And then it would stay crashed and sideways for a couple of years before working its way back up. This time around, it was very different. We had our chart. It was going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, but it wasn't going quite as parabolic, right? It stretched it out, and then it stayed up there for a lot longer than normally. It didn't hit its top and then crash back down. It stayed up there. So we're seeing the length of the bull market stretch, and we're seeing the length of the bear market kind of shrink.
Okay. And so, yeah, that's an interesting pattern. And I've kind of noticed the same thing because, yeah, on the last one, it went up, dropped a little bit, went back up. It's like, wait, it doesn't know which way it's going. Where the cycle before that, it did, like you said, just a straight spike and then straight back down again.
Right. And I think that's a direct result of more adoption. More people are becoming familiar with it. There's more money flowing through it. There's the institutional money. There's a lot of retail investor money, so that's going to change the territory and change the terrain.
Right. Exactly. And I think perception's changing all the way around. Now, Jason asked great questions. Speaking of other ways to make money in crypto, what is a good way to do concentrated liquidity farms? I'm still confused on how they work and what is a good strategy. Great question.
That is a very great question. So I'm trying to think of how I can answer this in under 30 minutes.
Good luck.
Concentrated liquidity is a very in-depth topic, and you do have to really know what you're doing if you're going to be using concentrated liquidity. Okay. There's a lot of people right now who are providing concentrated liquidity who I guarantee are suffering huge and permanent loss because they're having to rebalance the range that they're supplying the liquidity to because of how fast Ethereum and crypto is moving at the moment. So a good way to do concentrated liquidity farms, if you can find a platform that essentially will auto manage it, and it will give it a range. And then if it's outside of the range for a specified period of time, it'll rebalance it. There are a couple of those platforms out there in DeFi. I don't want to name drop or anything like that, because one of the things we don't do here is promote other projects. Right. But if you're in the space, you know of a project that is kind of round in shape. They have a platform that does that. And there's a couple others as well.
Okay.
So,
and, yeah, Jason, post that in the Discord there, buddy, and let's have a discussion about it. That'd be a great topic to dive into.
Absolutely. And tag me when you do, and we can chat about it.
Right on.
The actual answer to that is like 30 plus minutes long. So,
hey, we might have a stream just on how to do that. That could be a great event.
Yeah.
So Funny Turtle says, I try to do a 1% profit per day with Forex and gold trading, 1 times leverage, stop loss, 2 times take profit, still doing it in a demo account, but have been seeing success. Now, awesome. That's a great topic there. And good job, Funny, because that is not easy to do, brother. I know I've tried it, and demo account doesn't feel normal to me. It's missing the excitement there. So, Cyril, as far as people like Funny is doing an amazing job of running his rules and his rules of solvency. Me, I suck at it. So why is a demo account so important to run, and how long should somebody run it before they actually start trading in real money?
So if you do want to start trading, especially if it's leverage trading, right? There's a process that I put people through, and it's a process you can put yourself through. But in my opinion, and in my experience, and everything that I've seen across all the students that I've taught how to trade, one of the big things that you never want to do is start with real money too soon. Okay. And so what I have them do is they go through this process where they start a demo account, and they start it with a realistic amount of money, because you can choose the starting values for the demo account on most platforms. So if, it can be $500, $1,000, or, it can be $100, whatever you wanted to start with. But I generally recommend starting with at least a minimum of $100. So what I have them do is I have them take that demo. I have them follow the rules, and I have them triple the demo account. So if it's a $500 account, get it to $1,500, right? Then I have them delete it, and I have them do it again, a second time. They start a demo account. They must triple it. Once they do that, they delete the second account, and they do it a third time.
Man, I lose.
Third time's the chart, right? And if you wind up blowing up one of the accounts, essentially margining out, I make you start over again. So if you get to the third one and you margin the third one out, you start back at 1. But the point of this is doing it like that is building one thing that is incredibly important, and it is good habits, right? Which means you're following the rules. You're following the rules. You're playing it smart. You're not being stupid with it, and you're building those habits. And the second thing that it teaches is it teaches you proper money management, in that when you go to use real money, at that point you've got it all down pat. You know the same process. You start with the same amount. You know what to do. You've been here before. Comes to mind that SpongeBob meme, and be like, wait, you've seen this before? Yes, 11 times, in fact.
There you go.
But, what that does is it gets you in the mindset where once I triple my account, what do? Well, I withdraw the profit, right? Because you start back with what you started. You take the profit, you set it aside, you take it out of what you're trading with, put it back in the landing account, or just the spot account as USDC or whatever, but pull it out of the trading account. Now you're trading with this again. You're going to do that again. You're going to pull that out. Congratulations. You've got $2,000 sitting over here now, just chilling, right? That is there as a backup if you blow it up, right? Now it's not, oh, I lost everything because I blew up my portfolio. You're like, who gives a shit? I've got this over here. You take $500, you go again. That way it's a form of risk management, right? It's proper money management. It's not going to hurt my account because I have my $500 here. I triple it, move it over. And you keep doing that. Once you get like 10 grand over here, change this to 1,000. That's your starting. Triple that. That is how you start compound growing. Once what you got set aside is 10 times what you're trading with, increase what you're trading with to match 10% of that. And just keep doing that.
Very interesting. Okay. So obviously I have to do homework. I have to do exercises. Oh man, I got a lot of work ahead of me.
It is a lot of work, but once it's all habit, once it's all routine, it's no longer work. I check charts unless they're moving crazily like they are today. I check my charts maybe once or twice a day because I'm looking at the H1, H4 daily charts, right? I'm looking at the higher time frames. I don't need to be looking at the charts constantly. I've got the habits down. I know what proper lot sizes, what proper trade sizes, how much of my account per trade I have, because it's habit. It doesn't take time.
So you don't end up with that panic, like, oh my God, I'm not watching it. And yeah, that's always been my worst thing. I put in a trade and I'm like sitting there stalking it. Like, oh my God, should I stop? Should I go? What do I do? And yeah.
You know what helps get rid of that?
What's that?
Having your trade account and having your sidelines. Because if you're in a trade, let's say you're 20x leverage on an Ethereum long, and you just plop it in, you don't care, right?
Right.
Because it's such a small amount compared to what you have on the sidelines that you've built up. Yes, it's going to be a little harder in the beginning when you don't have that sidelines yet, right? You're still going to be worried about this is your one shot, essentially. But you did it before at least 3 times on a demo account. You can do it again. You've got it down, right? You've shown that you can do it. The only thing stopping you is here.
Gotcha. And that makes perfect sense. And had a bunch of comments come in, so let's get caught up here. So Mehmet, welcome to the show. Valerie, finally, my dear, glad to have you here. And see, Jason says, Serenity, you always ask Cyril good questions and gives good answers. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate that. We like to. I try to have good questions because if not, he's going to make fun of me. So I got to make him good. And Dave, I said, in my opinion, it's ETF hype and manipulation by institutions in prep for that. Ask yourself who has enough capital and AI to manipulate the entire market at once. Only 2 mega companies come to mind.
BlackRock and Vanguard.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, sure. Thank you. Okay. And hi, Mom. Glad you could join us here. Okay, we're almost caught up here. Says DeFi says a demo account is missing the feeling of getting punched in the gut. DeFi, I agree, buddy. I jump in there with like $20, like, all right. The other day, I did the most dumbest thing, Cyril. You would absolutely hate me for it. I went in with like $18 and I did these short trades, like 5 of them. And I took it up like $53. And I'm like, okay, it went down. It hit this point. It's going to go to this point. Okay, so let's do a 20x on all of it. What happened? It crashed. It's like, damn it. Yeah, I did the dumbest thing on the planet. I've got to get away from the concept that trading is gambling. And I think that's one of the biggest things new people coming into it really see it as. They see it as a quick gamble.
Yeah. And that's because, they're like, oh, I'm basically betting on if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down, and you get that casino feel because you can see the numbers moving so rapidly, right? Even in small amounts, it's rapid. It feeds that, oh, yes, give me, what's that chemical? Give me that dopamine, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm going to buckle down here in the next little bit, and I'm going to start doing homework, and we're going to start working through this. So, I'll have to start documenting my journey, guys, and you'll have to come along, and if nothing else, just laugh at me or cheer me on or whatever, because I have to learn this stuff one of these days, because I think there's more to crypto than just DeFi, and this is a whole new area that I haven't dove into yet.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, the easiest way to learn, trading, essentially, believe it or not, is on the Forex markets, and it's on the pair XAU-USD, gold to the US dollar. That is the easiest one to learn to trade on. It follows patterns beautifully. So, if you understand like the basic candle patterns and stuff like that, it follows them beautifully. It doesn't move like too volatile. You can use higher leverage on it because it's not as vicious. And there's actually a calculation that you can do that will tell you as you can put in this lot size and you never have to take a loss. Because the trade would never margin out your account. So you can just wait for it to go back up in profit, regardless of how long it takes.
Okay, so even if it's sat there 3 years, you're still going to go up. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you'll bleed out on swap fees, but that, would just count against whatever profit you do take from it. So you just got to wait for it to go more in profit.
You might be in one trade for 6 years. Like, okay,
I think the longest I've been in a gold trade was about 2 months.
Oh, wow. That is a long time for a trade.
Yeah, I paid about 16 grand in swap fees, but
if you made profit, then it's worth it, right?
I did.
Okay. There you go. So Rooster says, Cyril can confirm because he's the one who got me started. I've been trading almost a year now. It's incredibly difficult. Finding a strategy and discipline, and the rules are very difficult. See, Rooster, that's my worst thing is me and rules have never gotten along well, as you guys know by now. So yeah, I'm kind of afraid of it, honestly. I'm totally fearful of it. And it's one of those, can I control myself? Now, Cyril, let me ask you, are there types of people that just should never trade? It's just not in their blood.
Yes.
Okay.
There are. And those individuals, I say, stay with spots. Just buy an asset when it's at a price and sell it when it's higher, because no matter where the price goes, you still have the asset, right? So it doesn't matter if you bought Ethereum at $4 grand and it crashed all the way down to 900, that you still have the Ethereum, right? You would just have to wait until it goes above that before you could ever take profit from it.
Okay. And as we know, as cycles have repeated over the last several years, even if you bought at the top last time, the all-time high of Bitcoin or whatever else, it's going to hit a new all-time high. So as long as you don't sell, you haven't actually lost.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Unless, of course, that token just burns to death if it's a DeFi project.
Yes, if it's a DeFi project, it can just straight go to zero and never ever become worth something again, right? So something like a blue chip like Bitcoin or Ethereum, that's a different story. Or Matic.
Okay. Right. Matic's a good one too. Absolutely. And Rooster says, I'll never give up though. Good man, Rooster. Yeah. Be honest, Rooster, I'm afraid of it, but I'm going to one of these days have to swallow my pride and my fear and just say, okay, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to go through Cyril's course. So yeah, I'll keep you posted on how that goes. So funny ask, Cyril, what are your thoughts on prop accounts? I've not heard very good things about it because so many rules, which will end up hurting you.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of prop firms. For anyone who doesn't know what a prop firm is, I'll give a little brief explanation. It's essentially a company where you pay money to be given a demo account, and you have to follow this set of rules. And if you do that and you pass through, like a couple different phases of the challenge or something, then they give you an account that's funded and you get to keep a percentage of the trades that you make, right? So, and it starts off, I think, with a lower percentage for you, but then after I think the first month it switches over and you get like 60 to 80% of the profit made on trades. But they do have a lot of rules, right? They have a lot of things they want you to do, a lot of things they don't want you to do, and they can deny payment requests. You want to go withdraw, take some of your profits or whatnot. If they find some random rule that you broke, they can just deny your payment and be like, this you broke the rules, you can't trade anymore, and then you're out everything, right? So I'm not a fan of them, and I don't like the fact that you got to pay to go through the challenges or the trial. If you can go through them, maybe, pay to actually get your funded account, but that's why their system works, right? All of these people pay the money to go try to do it, lose that application fee, which can sometimes be as high as $500 to $1,000, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that's how they get the money to fund all these people's accounts. when
And if
they,
you're profitable, then they make a ton of money on top of the application. Man, they're winning both ways. I'm in the wrong line of work.
right?
Exactly. And Rooster says, I trade with prop firms. I've heard goods and bads. It's one of those. But yeah, if there's an application fee at that price, I think I'd rather just learn to do it and put my own money in. And that way I trade however I want. Whatever I do, I do.
Yeah, because you can definitely do your own demo accounts and start a very nice first account with $500 to $1,000, right? And if that's what they're charging just to go through a demo process,
Exactly. That's crazy. So yeah, John Richards says Ponzi.
essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. And except for it's a gambling Ponzi, even worse. And you get I could say so many things, but I won't. So it's that time, everybody. Now,
Ooh, dance off.
as it's dance off, and as you guys know, everyone who jumps in and votes is entered in the dance off. Now, right there's the Discord link. If you haven't voted yet this week, definitely check that out right after the stream. But the rules are: 1, you have to vote, and 2, you have to be here during the live stream. You have to DM me if you're the winner before the stream ends. Otherwise, it rolls over into next week's and we go again.
Yep.
Absolutely. Beach Kiss, I'm feeling dancy. All right. It's just a dance off. Now, also, I put my name in there in the middle of the list this time, where if I come up, I'm going to add $10 to the pot and we're going to go get it until one of you guys wins the pot. So I am right here, Serenity plus 10. There you go. So if I come up and I win it, I add $10 and we go again. I still win it. So one of these days, I'm going to win like 5 times in a row and be giving away $60. Great. Okay, I think we're ready. Thank you, everybody who voted, and anybody who hasn't voted right after the stream, make sure to go vote for this week's because it's pretty exciting to see you guys decide what we invest in. So, okay, are we ready?
Yes.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Big money, no whammies.
Oh, and you remembered to share the sound for the dance-off music?
Look at me go.
Ooh.
And I'm gone. First hit.
You're like, yes.
Me and Funny. Sorry, Funny. Man,
Oh,
that hurt. Hope you were Rebel and Cheetos calm.
oh no.
Oh,
Rose,
EDK,
Billy,
and Ferret.
Barrett, Jay.
Chasing. Man, they're dropping like flies.
Oh,
DeFi.
oh no.
There's John. Sorry, John. Okay, we're down to 3.
Ooh,
Chrome
Rooster's
Rooster and
still
Mercs.
there.
I think Chrome was last.
I think, isn't that the second week in a row that he won?
I think it is, in fact. Something's fishy here. Yep, there we go. Chrome.
Well, we
Congratulations,
appreciate you doing the vote and helping us decide what we're gonna, invest our $25 a week in.
Exactly. And yeah, guys, make no mistake. We listen to your votes. We don't decide on our own. It's all up to you guys. So this is one it's real try singing. Thank you for coming. This where it's really important is if you do cast a vote on a DeFi project, please go to the channel below that where it says discuss the vote and let us know the information. Who is that project? Because a lot of these we probably never heard of. And Chrome says, yo, I won again. Yes, you did. Chrome won. Rigged. It was close, Rooster, man. That was crazy. That was one of the bloodiest dance-off we've ever had. I mean, just dead. The hell? Chrome says, I think it's rigged. Yeah. Congrats. Laughing at Dave. And Dave says, or Chrome, BTK says, congrats, Chrome. Okay, so Chrome, you know the drill. You still got to DM me, brother. If I don't get it, you don't get it. Okay, so let's find out. Cyril, now, of course, look at the charts. Today looked really, really good. Totally broke the cycle. What kind of effect did that have on our holdings?
Well, let me see here. I can share the screen. Sorry, my laptop is running a little slow at the moment.
That's okay. I thought it broke it.
All right. So last week we started off with $614.97. We ended the week about an hour ago when I updated the charts here. We ended with $660.25 for a $45 gain, $45.28, or 6.86%. So we'll add $25 to the pot, and we'll get to see soon who we're going to be adding, which means we'll start the week off at 685.25.
Damn, that's impressive. Now that is a new record gain for us, isn't it?
I think so. Let me look. Hold on. I know there was another week that was close. Oh, it was. It beat out the previous record week gain by 7 cents.
Okay, now this is really interesting. And so I want to take a moment on that, Cyril. So if you look at that game before, we beat out, but it had a gain of 9.73%. This one had less of a gain, but more money on it.
Percentage-wise, correct.
Right.
Because our portfolio has gotten bigger since then. So this one was $45, which was 9.73% of $419, right? But that same amount is not 9% of $614.
Right. So this is where it's really important to realize that even though it seems like we're not doing anything, like we talked about in the last episode, the time is going to pass. So by putting in the few dollars every single week, that time's still going to go by. But as we see, as our portfolio grows, it takes less and less percent to have a huge ramification of gains.
Yep. Which also means that as your accounts do get bigger, right? Similar to what I was talking about with the trading, by moving the money over, right? And only trading with the same amount, that same amount is a much smaller percentage of your whole portfolio.
Right. So yeah, that is huge. That's and this is just a glimpse of what we're looking at. Now, if we look at when they're talking about the next bull market, and that's essentially, let me take that off for a second. So if we think about it this way, we've got what, $600+ now. Mm-hmm. And if everybody's talking about a 10x from today's price to the next all-time high, I mean, that you're talking $6,000, almost $7,000 off of $600. Is that a realistic expectation?
Well, if it went up that much, then yeah. But I don't know as if it's going to go up quite that much. So realistically, the amount that Bitcoin moves from its previous high to its next high is a percentage of the previous difference. It's a lot to try to explain, but essentially we're targeting 73% on top of the price previously. So you would take like 73% of 68K and then add that to 68K, and that's the target.
So that's 53,000 on top of the 68.
Yeah. So it should be like 118 or something.
121.
121. Right. So that's a good estimation of where the next run will take you. And I forget which Discord I posted it in. So you might have to track it down across all of DeFi. But one of the Discords, I actually did all the math for them. I was like, from this, I went all the way back to 2011, 2013. Yeah, I went way back, and I did all the math. I was like, from this high to this high, it was like, 44x. From this high to this high, it was 17x. From this high to this high, it was 2.52x. And I said, so you adjust all those differences and you get the next target. And we worked out that math, and I showed them all of that, but it would be a little much for a video.
It would. Okay, so now that brings up a great point. Now, as we're seeing on a lot of these content creators, a lot of the videos, and especially with the ETFs and all this, people are talking $1 million Bitcoin. That seems unreasonable to me, but I mean, is it?
Eventually, right. But not this run.
Okay. And that's what a lot of the narrative out there is that, oh, yeah, Bitcoin's going to dominate the world. It's taking over. You can plan $1 million plus. And people are actually buying into this. They're not really paying attention to the details and the data the history has taught us. And so I think it's really important to definitely throw it out there, guys, is, a lot of content creators, myself included, we feed on the hype in some sorts. There always is. It's just like rags to riches. It's all about learning to strategically grow money. Now, we try to make it realistic, honest, and direct. But a lot of these, you're going to see these shorts and things like that say, hey, you buy Bitcoin today, put in $10,000, you'd be a millionaire in 2 years. It's not really realistic. So always double check your facts, guys. Don't believe anybody. Do your own research.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. And so usually, Cyril, at this point in time, you have some words of wisdom. What is the wisdom you want to share with us this
week? The more excited the markets get, the more cautious you should be. So I knew to get out and sell all my shit, right? Last bull run, because my father asked me, hey, how do I buy the Bitcoin? Okay. When you get people who would normally never talk about crypto and you start hearing them talk about it, the market's too hot. It's time to get out. And this has actually always been the case. Way back when Warren Buffett was a much younger man.
He was younger when?
At some point in history, he sold all of his holdings when his shoe shine boy offered to give him a stock market tip. And be like, oh, you should check out this stock. It's going to do really well. He realized when people, even as broke as the shoe shine boy, were buying stocks, the market was too hot. So he sold all of his stuff and avoided the crash, got out at the top. So when everyone is talking about it, oh, this is dead, this is dying, this is never going to happen, SEC is going to do this, or, the government's going to do this, that's when you should be buying, right? And when everyone's talking about it, you should be selling. So just when the bull run is going on and you're excited, right? Everything that you're holding is going to the freaking moon, right? You're watching every day you wake up and your account is another 300% up or whatever, right? You're going to get so excited about that, right? That's your dopamine. That's your hit of endorphins right there. It's you can't put it down, right? It's like go open a brand new bag of Lay's potato chips, eat one of them, and then put it back in the cupboard. Okay. You just can't do it.
No.
Right.
When you're not empty, I can.
Exactly. Dip it in a little bit of mustard, great. But no, you're not going to want to walk away from that. But when everyone is talking about it, you absolutely should be walking away from it. You should be like, all right, that was great. This is amazing. Look at how far it's grown. Look at how far I've come. Put a pin in it, right? Because if you don't, you will be my exit liquidity.
At least you're honest about it. I like that. That's good. And yeah, Putty Turo says, careful of FOMO. That's a great one. Yeah, because that's when, just like you're talking, is when everybody wants in. Yeah, it's like DeFi saying, I get friends asking me, when's it pumping like crazy? That's when you should get out there.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So now that creates a interesting scenario. Let's say you do get out. It's going great. Everybody's doing wonderfully. You're up huge amounts and you sell. And then it keeps going. Now, of course, that can be a huge, shot to the stomach because, oh God, did I do it right? Do I do it wrong? How does somebody deal with that? Or how do you deal with that, I should say?
You're talking about the analysis paralysis, essentially?
Basically, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so there's many mistakes that new traders make, and one of them is they get out too early. The second most common mistake is that they get out too late. So there's a lot of ways it could go, right? There's a lot of decisions to be made. After a week of seeing, green on your charts and your portfolio going up, you're like, all right, is this the time I should walk away? This is the time I should sell. You should probably hold a little bit longer, right? Wait until you start seeing those indications where you're seeing it on the news. For some reason now the money section of the news or whatever is also talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, things like that, right? Excuse me, or your grandparents or your parents asking, how do I buy Bitcoin? That kind of thing. That's when you should be selling. But it's easy to worry about doing the wrong thing. So try to go with your gut, not your emotions. Try to be like, have we been going up for months? Or has it just kind of started?
Okay. And so, because eventually we're all going to make those mistakes. And like John said, don't get yourself hosed. And he did say hosed. He didn't make that far. And that's one of those things that I've run into several times is if I get out of a trade or something and I take profits and it keeps going up, of course, I feel bad. It's like, oh, man, I should have waited. Or if I don't get out and it crashes, then I feel bad. And so either way, there's a risk of running bad. Biggest thing is take your gains, take your profits, and be proud of yourself for controlling those emotions. Because personally, I think that's a huge endeavor. If you can put your rules in there, your stop losses, your take profits, and you just run with them. And that's whether you're doing blue chips, you're doing leverage trading, or you're doing DeFi, you can never go wrong taking profits. And that's one of the most important things to remember.
And that brings us full circle back to where we started the episode, where I said, nobody ever went broke taking profits.
Exactly.
So, there's always going to be an opportunity in the markets, right? Whether it's to go long on something, go short on something, there's so many options in the market. Don't hang on to one forever being like, oh, this is my ticket. This is it. Right. Don't be afraid to take that profit and look for another opportunity. Right. You don't have to just ride that one trade to victory. Be smart about it. Take your profit, set some aside, start back with your initial again, go in again. Right. Everything we've been talking about this episode, essentially, and you should be okay.
Right on. And great piece of advice, Funny. I know we've talked about this before, but once you're out, you're out. Don't go back in. That's FOMO.
Yep.
Exactly.
One of the first episodes, I think. The first or second.
I think our example was an ex-girlfriend. Is what we used. And it's true. And that's one of the hardest things, Cyril. It's like today on the Ethereum trade. I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing. Great job, Cyril. And then at the same time, part of me is like, oh, damn, why didn't I know? And so it's so easy to get lost in this, like, oh, I missed it. Okay, game over. There's so many opportunities, guys. There's hundreds a day, if not more. So please don't let it get you down. Just look for that next opportunity, following your rules of solvency. Very key.
Yep, absolutely. That's why, I keep telling people, I'm like, look, when everything else is going crazy right now, right? When I'm looking for a deal, I've been collecting BNB, right? Because it's a network token. It's used a lot, but its price got double suppressed, not from just the bear market, but also from the SEC putting their crosshairs on them. So right now, crypto market, everything kind of moves into correlation, right? Bitcoin goes up, Ethereum is going to go up too. Matic's going to go up too. They tends to move in a correlation because they're all kind of paired to each other, right? We discussed that in liquidity pools and everything. They're all paired to each other somehow. So they all kind of move together. But BNB hasn't really been following them. It has its days, where it goes up a bit, but the rest of them are going up a lot more. So I've been, that's what I mean when there's always an opportunity, right? Yes, Ethereum's up 12% already, in the last 24 hours, but BNB is only up 2.37%.
Hmm. You know, it's kind of interesting you mentioned that, Cyril, because let's bring up today's votes and find out who our winners are. Just might surprise you.
Ooh, yes, let's.
Oh, wait, how about I share the other screen? Let's add that one to stage instead.
That would be a good idea.
So apparently the community has been listening because the voting results show this week we are buying BNB. Woohoo! Way to go, everyone.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I like it. So, and in DeFi, we have gold, collective finance. Right on. Good choice.
So that would be the third week in a row that collective finance has actually won. So it's interesting because what do a lot of people refer to cryptos as? Kind of like a hedge against the the dollar and the finance markets, because when the dollar's going down, crypto's going to go up, right? So gold has traditionally been treated that way, as a hedge against the dollar.
Right.
And so it's interesting that people are picking BNB because they see the value proposition there. Everything else is going up. BNB is probably going to follow soon too. And they picked gold. So here in crypto, as a hedge against the dollar, we're picking gold as a hedge against the dollar.
Seems kind of familiar there. And yeah, it's one of those that, as many of you know, I've been part of collective finance since back in the very beginning. And even though they've been really quiet, I know they're still around. In fact, Chrome, who's with us every single week, thank you, Chrome, love you, brother, is one of the founders of that team. So if you guys got any questions, want to know more about it, throw them in the Discord. Chrome is always there to answer any questions you could have. So I think it's a good choice. Now, I would like to see some other crypto projects, but I'm really curious, Cyril, because I haven't seen a lot that stood out to me lately. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mention names, but no, I haven't really seen anything that's kind of piqued my interest lately. I've got a couple of ones that I've been in for a while that have been good, solid performers. One of them is essentially a film studio, and they made a film. They sold it to Netflix. I bought one of the founder NFTs or whatever that funded the initial production. So I think my name's in the credits of the movie somewhere.
Nice.
But I'm looking forward to when it pops out on Netflix because I want to watch it. I'm like, hey, I funded it, right? So, but that one's been paying me out every quarter, which is cool. But no, I haven't really seen anything new that's caught my attention. What about you?
Nothing really super that jumped out. I've got a couple that I've been in talks with. They've been kind of excited about. Nothing I would throw a lot of money in, but I think the biggest thing here to realize that in the bear market, one of the biggest things that should make people excited, and this is my opinion, I'm curious if you agree, Cyril, is the fact that a project survives. Because as we've seen thousands of projects crash and burn in the last year. So even though a project may not be explosive or, everybody's screaming in the streets how amazing it is, the fact that it's still there, still growing and still moving forward, I think is a huge strength to them. So any project that still exists today, man, I think they're doing awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Doubly so if they're, actively paying out rewards and stuff as well. So it's good to see some of them stick through the entire bear market. There's ones that I saw that were literally doing their raise and their pairing to a volatile token, like Ethereum or Matic or whatnot. And they did all that literally right as the bull market ended. And so they had that price depreciation from the asset they're paired to just getting dragged down. And otherwise, they would technically be up still, but they got dragged way down from it. But they're still there. They're still plugging away, so hats off to all of y'all. I like to call the bear market the builder's market because that's when, the tough stick it out and the tough tend to get things done eventually. So
Exactly. And Funny Churro says, I've been getting rewards from movie NFT Been good. And yeah, there's one project I heard about, and I don't know if I have an NFT. I think I kept meaning to get one, but I don't know if I ever did.
I'm
Might
pretty
need
sure
to
I
get
told you to get one.
You probably did, and I probably didn't do it. Didn't have the funds. I was probably stupid.
Well, they weren't cheap either, so
That could be part of it. And unfortunately, now that I'm just a poor content creator, funds are a little more challenging to acquire now than they were. And Rooster said there's one in particular I'd love to have you talk about, but I know it's not time yet. Yes, Rooster, it is not time yet. So you just keep that on the back burner, brother. DeFi says I have a really degen POW chain I might add in. Not even in testnet yet, though. Ooh, DeFi, I would love to hear about it, buddy. Throw it in there, toss it in your discuss the votes. Let's chat about it. That's what Discord's all about, guys. And if you're not part of the Down Home Crypto Discord as of yet, here's the link. Definitely jump in, join the Discord, talk to the community, and cast your vote, because that's how you get in the dance-off.
Yeah, please do, Dave, because I might be interested.
There you go. And now I'll give a little bit of alpha just because we're on this topic. There is one project that's been around for a while that kind of fell off the earth, or so we thought. I am going to have a live AMA with them next Thursday morning, afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern. Keep an eye out for that if it's something you're interested in. Not saying it's good or bad. Please understand this. I'm going to do an AMA, and I'm looking for hard questions and community activity. So hope to see you there.
Sounds fun.
Right on. And as always, guys, thank you for joining in tonight. I think we've covered everything. Did I forget anything this time, Cyril?
Nope.
Look at me, 100% today. Woo!
He's on the ball, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, buddy. I got some sleep, got some meal. Life is good. And I want to say especially thank you to everybody in the community for taking the time to vote, to share your experiences, and being here every Thursday with us. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. So thank you.
Many thanks.
Absolutely. So, guys, I think that's it for tonight. And make sure to tune in tomorrow for Freaky Friday, where we're going to have another amazing discussion on nobody knows what until we get there. So have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you guys. Take care.